Hello friends, today we are going to talk about continuous cell culture technique. So as the name suggests, in this cell culture technique, there is a continuous addition of nutrients and continuous removal of cells, toxins and used nutrient media from the bioreactor. So there is a continuous addition as well as removal. So during the process, there is an addition of nutrients. So nutrients can be added during the process whenever there is a nutrient depletion or as a continuous stream in general. A continuous stream of nutrients is added inside the bioreactor, and then there is a removal of used nutrient media, cells and toxins. So there is a continuous removal of used nutrient media, cells and toxins again as a continuous stream. Now the second most important property of this continuous cell culture is you can achieve a steady state, or the bioreactor or the cell culture achieves a steady state. What does steady state means? Steady state means that some of the very important parameters of the continuous cell culture, they remain constant. And what are those parameters? The first important parameter is volume. Now the volume of substance added, if it is equal to the volume removed, then the volume inside the bioreactor remains constant. Okay, so we know that the nutrients are added inside the bioreactor and used nutrient media with toxins and cells are removed from the bioreactor, and hence in steady state the constant volume is achieved, or the volume remains constant throughout the process. The second most important property is growth rate. Growth rate remains constant throughout the process. Now we know that the cells generally enter the stationary phase from log phase only when there is depletion of nutrients or there is a lot of toxins present. So if the nutrients are not depleted and the toxins are continuously removed, then the cells won't frequently enter the stationary phase, or they'll remain continuously in the log phase, and in the log phase the growth rate is maximum and is constant. Okay, so in steady state the growth rate is constant, then in steady state the cells remain in the log phase. The third important property is cell density. Now if the cells removed from the bioreactor is equal to the cells produced, then the cells inside the bioreactor remains constant and the volume is already constant, so the cell density, which is the number of cells per unit volume, also remains constant. Okay, so if the cells produced is equal to the cells removed, and we know that there is a constant volume inside the bioreactor, so the cell density automatically remains constant. The fourth parameter is metabolite concentration. The metabolite concentration inside the bioreactor remains constant, because as the cell density is constant and the cells are going to release the metabolite inside the bioreactor in constant volume, so which means that the concentration of metabolites, the metabolites present per unit volume, are also going to remain constant. Now these are the very important properties of continuous cell culture, and collectively when all of these are constant, we call that the cell culture is in a steady state. Okay, now we are going to see what are the two major advantages of this process. What are the two major advantages of continuous cell culture? The first important advantage is low downtime. Low downtime means that the time for which the bioreactor is not working, or the time for which there is sterilization being carried out, the time for which there is cleaning of bioreactor being carried out, that time is known as downtime. But the continuous cell culture, as the nutrients are continuously added, the cells are continuously removed, used nutrient media is continuously removed, this process can go on for months. Okay, this process goes on for months, so there is very less time in the whole year. There are only a few days in the whole year where the bioreactor is not working, and hence it accounts for very low downtime and hence very low economic loss. Okay, so whenever the bioreactor is not working, it is an economic loss for the industry. So if we are doing continuous cell culture, the economic loss would be very less and the economic advantages would be very high. What is the second important property or second important advantage of continuous cell culture? The second important advantage is the fermenter volume or the bioreactor's volume does not matter. Okay, in fed batch we saw that we can add nutrients inside the bioreactor, the cells would start to grow, but as soon as the bioreactor is almost filled or as soon as the bioreactor reaches its maximum volume, then we'll have to end the process. But in this cell culture technique, we can continuously remove the cells from the bioreactor. So which means that volume is not a limitation here. So volume of the bioreactor is not a limitation. So even if there is a small volume of bioreactor, still we can continuously add nutrient media and continuously remove cells and use nutrient media. So you can culture a large amount of cells even with a small vessel. Okay, even with a small bioreactor. So these are the two major advantages of this process. Now there is one problem in this process, and that problem is maintaining sterility. It is very hard to maintain sterile environment during the continuous cell culture process because you need to add nutrients and you need to remove cells, toxins, and all of that should happen in sterile environment. All the nutrients which you are adding should be sterile. So maintaining sterile conditions for continuous cell culture is a difficult task. Otherwise, this is the most advantageous process being carried out in industries. So this was all about continuous cell culture process. If you have any queries, questions or suggestions, please do mention them in the comment box. Thanks.